Our fifth topic of the night, Bitcoin hash rate says a higher price is coming.
Yeah. So Bitcoin price has seen an increase of 140% so far alone this year.
12 months. Yeah, 12 months.
Yeah, 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people when they say this year, they always say from January. Like January just doesn't.
All right.
It's an
12
arbitrary
months.
12 months.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. And to give a little bit of perspective, in July 2012, the total hash rate of the Bitcoin network was around 12 terahashes per second. And now a single ASIC miner can achieve the same hash rate.
That's an interesting stack. So that was when? 2012, you said?
2012.
So,
Yeah,
so 2012, the power of the network is now one miner, and there's lots of them. So wow, that's mind numbing. Yeah, go ahead.
It is. So one factor that may be driving the hash rate up is the upcoming reward halving. So the way Satoshi Nakamoto designed Bitcoin is that after a certain period of time, the reward goes into half.
Yeah, it halves out.
This has happened 2 times already. So the block reward halves every 210 mine blocks. The third one is coming. It's gonna decrease the reward to 6.25 per block and is estimated to occur around May 2020.
Yes, and that is 2020 is a big year for the miners going forward. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Maybe miners are trying to accumulate as much as possible before this happens because they're gonna get less, obviously. So yeah, that's one reason that this might be happening.
All right, so this article was posted by Seeking Alpha, which the only company I like more than Seeking Alpha is Motley Fool. You know, I'm a big fan of the Fool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Seeking Alpha is also really good. Kind of follows a similar pattern with the outsider writers telling you their positions and talking about it.
All right.
The hash rate, yes, as you said, does continue to hit new highs because of increased usage and computing capabilities on top of users.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of different things that are in play, right? Miners are only operational at profitable levels. So is kind of like one of the main things that this article is trying to talk about, and therefore there's a price floor. And I don't think that's necessarily true.
Price floor?
Yes.
All right.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think just because mining a coin becomes unprofitable that everyone flips the switch instantly off, right? Because what really becomes unprofitable is holding the X amount of ASIC miners there and letting them slowly lose their value as you're not mining off of them. So I think you get stuck into where they're going to mine going forward. The amount of miners that are being made are going to be made to mine, and they're going to do nothing else but mine. Yeah, exactly. What would ever be the purpose of doing that? Therefore, there's like a feedback loop that basically perpetuates the price higher with increased price, demand, and computing power just going forward is basically the argument. Go ahead.
Sorry, so last week we just talked about how Bitmain is releasing their new 7nm chip, and they're gonna release also a new miner. So definitely the power is increasing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you talked about that 2012 to now graph. The hash rate just for this year is actually up 400%. Just for the last 12 months. And then when we do that 12-month thing, right?
Yeah.
And I've mentioned this several times across our podcast. If you look at 12 months on like transactions of either Etherscan or Bitcoin scans, you'll see the hash power up, the transactions up, etc. So basically, the USD graph is showing that there's strong rallies around 6,000, and Bitcoin should have a lot of upward explosion. And honestly, to me, 6,000 is 5,000, is 10,000. It's 3,000, it's 12,000. Because right now, because we're still really early in, right?
Yes.
Like Bitmain controls so much of the whole mining situation. Bitmain is even like a huge company in comparison to big companies that we think of in Apple, etc., right? So like in a relative form, wherever we say the floor is kind of where the floor is. And right now, the investors are saying the floor is at 6,000.
All right.
But the floor is really wherever we say it is. And I do think it's interesting, as you know, 2020 is going to be a big point because the inflation does go from 3.9 to 3.7 and then 1.8, and it is always going to be lower than that. And really, it's going to be one of the last couple of years before crypto starts getting to be really hard to mine.
Yeah.
But crypto growth is, in my opinion, not correlated with Bitcoin growth. I think crypto is a lot broader of a spectrum, and if you were to look at every transaction
Yeah.
on every chain,
Yeah.
and you could combine that, and you could see the upward amount of users, transactions, you would see bell curves of just steepening. Because even in this decline, transactions and users are still occurring and accruing all over the place.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fair.